Hi, thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with the firing of Attorney General Pam Bondi, the second high-profile member of President Trump's cabinet to be removed from her job this year. The president confirmed Bondi's removal in a Truth Social post, calling her a, quote, great American patriot and a loyal friend. While he publicly praised her work, saying she did a tremendous job, sources told CBS News the president's support for Bondi has been eroding for months. Tension appeared to rise inside the White House over Bondi's handling of the Epstein files, privately venting frustration over her inability to serve as what sources describe as an effective television surrogate for the administration. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche will serve as acting AG in her place. Blanche posted on social media after the announcement, saying he will, quote, continue backing the blue, enforcing the law, and doing everything in our power to keep America safe. CBS News White House reporter Navarro joins us now. So what more do we know about what led to her firing and who could replace her permanently?
Lindsay, sources say it was frustrations from the president on Bondi's cases against some of his political adversaries, as he felt that they were not moving fast enough. He was not seeing enough indictments or arrests. For instance, in the cases against the former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James, those were dismissed after a U.S. attorney who brought charges against those two was found to be unlawfully appointed. There were no charges in cases against the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell nor California Senator Adam Schiff. And in a sign that Bondi was feeling this pressure, we know that she had talked to a U.S. attorney overseeing a case against the former CIA Director John Brennan and had questioned him in D.C. on why that case was not moving fast enough. And the president posted last September in a message directly at Bondi saying, quote, we can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. As you mentioned, Todd Blanche will now serve as the interim attorney general. He is someone that has been elevated as a public face for the Department of Justice. But other names out there that could end up serving as the attorney general in the long term include EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, whose name has also been floated. He did not take questions during a public event about potentially becoming the next U.S. attorney general. And Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Harmeet Dillon has been floated online by many of Trump's allies as a potential successor. Bondi has said that the transition from her to Blanche will take up the next couple of weeks. So that does give the president, the White House, a bit of a timeline, a runway for them to pick a long-term nominee.
Before we let you go, we know that the president put in new tariffs in place and also signed an executive order on DHS worker pay. What do you know?
He signed a 100% tariff on pharmaceutical companies unless you are a company that has agreed to the administration's most favored nation pricing, where they sell drugs in the U.S. at the lowest price compared to other developed nations. And on DHS worker pay, President Trump said today on Truth Social that he will soon sign an order to pay all DHS employees, even though that department remains technically shut down. The White House has said that funding for this will come from the One Big Beautiful Bill, the budget and tax bill passed last September, and that will pay employees, some of whom have not been paid since February.
Navarro, thank you. Let's bring in CBS News Justice Department reporter Jake Rosen. What stands out from Pam Bondi's tenure as Attorney General?
Well, it's one of the shortest tenures in history, especially in the last 50 years. And given that President Trump had a number of attorney generals, both confirmed and acting in his first term, it's a sign of what might be to come. It's also, Lindsay, a reflection of a lot of this unforced errors that Attorney General Bondi made while she was in her position. Right after being confirmed, she teased that she had those Epstein files on her desk and that there was some kind of client list that was getting ready to be reviewed. A couple of months later, the Department of Justice, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, who, as you know, since has also left the Department of Justice, said that there was no further investigation that was needed and that the DOJ and FBI had done all of the proper buttoning up of the files and what needed to be done. And what President Trump had called for was some kind of renewed investigation into potential crimes. As you know, that just set off a massive, massive waterfall of events that have landed not just the Department of Justice itself in trouble for not following the law of that Epstein Files Transparency Act, but also the continued flood of pressure that led to Deputy Attorney General, now Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, being the public face of the end of that rollout, talking to the media and defending, not just on Sunday shows and news shows, but to the public, the Department of Justice repeated handling and redacting and unredacting of sensitive information relating to victims of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking activities. Certainly just one thing of many that certainly stands out to me.
So what can we expect from Blanche, who used to be the president's personal lawyer?
Well, going into the fall, I think this is the big thing to watch, Lindsay. President Trump might have wanted somebody who might be a better communicator, not just to television cameras, as Todd Blanche did in that hallway in New York during the trial, while President Trump was running for office. But Deputy Attorney General Blanche, now Acting Attorney General Blanche, if he is tapped to this role in the medium to long term, is going to have to potentially defend the Department of Justice and Trump administration against potential congressional increase. If Democrats win either the House or Senate or potentially both in the fall, that would mean investigations and subpoena power for people like Jamie Raskin, who has promised to launch these investigations into the Trump administration. Pam Bondi's health testimony has always been shaky. We'll see if that would be the same case for Blanche, who is maybe a more skilled orator and could argue back on facts, but also someone who President Trump might simply
incredible. She was prepared. She had binders in front of her with almost like Oppo research on Congress people.
Oh, she did, but then I think the personal attacks that seemingly Lindsay developed out of a lot of those back and forths, it's, yes, the kind of attack dog that maybe they wanted in the moment, but can she defend against concrete congressional increase going forward? That I don't know, and having a former lawyer of yours in that seat might be something the White House wants instead of Attorney General Bondi.
Jake Rosen, thank you.